Do you feel trapped in a vicious food addiction cycle you just can't break free from? Are you tired of the constant failed diets, out of control binges, and feelings of hopelessness around your eating habits? If this sounds all too familiar, keep watching. Recent science confirms that food addiction is a real medical condition driven by changes in brain chemistry. The good news is recovery is possible by understanding the science and taking proven steps to rebalance your brain. In this video, I'll walk you through the telltale symptoms of food addiction, what's happening inside your brain to hook you, and a step-by-step approach to finally overcome this prison for good. No more yo-yo dieting or shame. You can regain control of your health and life. First, here are the big 5 red flags to identify food addiction. Number 1, obsessive cravings and thoughts about certain trigger foods. Do you find yourself constantly thinking about and longing for certain foods like sugar, bread, pasta, or fast food? Do you spend time obsessing over when and how you get to your next fix of these foods? This obsessive preoccupation is a hallmark of addiction. Your brain is seeking out that feel-good dopamine hit. The number 2, needing more and more of the foods to feel satisfied due to growing tolerance. As addiction progresses, you may notice you need larger and larger portions of your trigger foods to feel content. Your brain adapts to the dopamine surges by reducing receptors. This tolerance means it takes an increasingly bigger food hit to achieve satisfaction. Food addicts often find themselves binging just to feel normal. The number 3, loss of control around triggers and inability to stop eating them. Once you start eating your triggers, do you find it nearly impossible to stop? The addiction has activated the reward circuits, releasing dopamine and opioids. This overwhelms rational thoughts and willpower. Even if painfully full, you keep compulsively eating as the brain demands more. This loss of control is a core part of addiction. Number 4 sign, eating despite negative consequences to health, weight, and self-esteem. Are you suffering health problems like weight gain, diabetes, or high blood pressure because of addictive eating patterns? Do you feel ashamed but still engage in this behavior repeatedly? This is a sign that addiction has taken priority in the brain above your emotional well-being and physical health. The number 5 signs, feeling anxious, irritable, or fatigued when trying to abstain. When you attempt to quit your trigger foods, do you quickly experience mood swings, anxiety, lethargy, insomnia, or other withdrawal symptoms? This is due to your brain reacting to the sudden dopamine and serotonin drop. You may even become angry, depressed, or unable to focus properly, which fuels relapse. If you relate to several of the signs, confirms you may be dealing with a real food addiction. Your brain pathways have been hijacked by hyper-palatable processed foods. They overstimulate dopamine and opioid receptors, creating a dependency. So now let's talk about what's going on inside your brain. Down deep in an area called the limbic system are the reward pathways. These drive our motivations and feelings of pleasure. Chemicals like dopamine and opioids controls the system. When certain foods high in sugar, salt, and fat and refined carbs hit these pathways, it overwhelms them, releasing large amounts of dopamine. This causes an euphoric addiction response. Over time, your brain adapts by reducing receptors for dopamine and opioids. This is called a downregulation. Soon, it takes more and more food to achieve satisfaction. This is a core brain change of addiction, needing more of a substance to get the same dopamine high. So food addiction hijacks your brain's reward system just like drugs. Research also shows genetics, trauma, stress, and mental health disorders can increase susceptibility to food addiction. The good news is, understanding the science means you can approach it rationally and know it's not a personal failing or lack of willpower. Your brain has been biologically hijacked by processed foods, but you can rebalance it. And here are the proven steps to take back control. Number 1, identify your unique trigger foods that you obsess over and can't control eating. The biggest offenders are typically sugar, flour, refined carbs, and processed foods high in fat, salt, and sugar. Even a small taste can set off addiction pathways. Next, completely abstain from your triggers. This is crucial to reset the brain's dopamine response and break the addiction loop. Be prepared for difficult withdrawal symptoms at first, but it's imperative. Adopting a low-carb or keto diet is an effective approach. It eliminates the food most addictive processed carbs and sugars. Research confirms keto stabilizes blood sugar and dopamine levels long-term for recovering food addicts. Manage stress wisely and get counseling if needed. Stress and trauma can heighten susceptibility. Healing past wounds and developing healthy coping skills are the key. Try to join support groups like on Facebook and Instagram. Connecting with others recovering from food addictions provides understanding and strength. You don't need to do this alone. Above all, be patient and focus on progress over perfection. Overcoming addiction is challenging but very possible. With consistent effort, you'll be shocked how much better you feel and how quickly cravings fade. The main takeaway is that food addiction is real, but you can absolutely beat it by understanding the science and taking proven recovery steps. Free yourself from the prison of food addiction. You hold the key. Recovery won't be linear, so stay patient with yourself, celebrate wins, and keep your eyes on the freedom waiting ahead. You've got this. Now, go start writing your new story.